Hey, Stacey David here with Tales of a Gearhead podcast. This podcast is about all things automotive from any time, any place, and beyond. All right, let's get to it. Well, all right, we have a special guest today, a very personal friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, heck of a gearhead, been around the industry 25 years, I guess it is.
Yeah.
I've got Matt Graves from American Powertrain, and he is kind of the guy with the whole idea behind the Save the Stick. Was kind of his idea. Now, he won't take credit for it, but I was there. I saw him coming up with it, so I know what happened. Matt, welcome to the show, man, and it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. I love the new place you got. The Gear Studio is ever evolving, so it's good to see you guys evolving and growing, and all kinds of projects here to.
Oh yes, there's all kinds of projects rolling in.
You can just pick out one corner of this place and spend about an hour. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
Catherine keeps asking me, she goes, how many projects do you have? And I'm like, well, it depends on who's asking.
Yeah. If you have to take more than 10 minutes to stop and think, then that's,
Yeah. So what's new at American Powertrain, man?
Oh, we're still slinging transmissions. The manual transmission is still hot as it ever is. And I don't know if you noticed lately that some of the OEs are bringing some of them back.
I know. They were supposed to be dead forever.
Yeah. I've been selling car parts for a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go, how many 69 Camaros are still out there? We still sell a ton of 5- and 6-speed kits for first-gen Camaro. They just keep coming.
Yeah. Well, people are building reproductions.
That's right. So it's and I'm not complaining.
Oh no, goodness no.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
It still just kind of blows my mind. And with the pickup trucks now, we've beat that to death. But you're one of the guys that helped. Pickup trucks back into the mainstream. So I got in. I bought a C10 in 2014 and LS swapped it and put a 5-speed in, an air rod on it. And
you still have the truck?
No, I sold it at LS Fest 2 years later.
Oh yeah. People just throwing money.
They were literally, and I'm like, all right, I wish I hadn't sold it now because there's no way I could build that truck for what I built it. In 2014.
Yeah.
But it's that's probably still our second biggest segment.
Yeah.
That grew really fast from nothing.
Yeah.
In just like 3 years.
And you guys were so smart to come out with the foot pedals. That for the trucks and stuff, that where people can get, because you can't find the foot pedals.
No, it's hard to find that stuff, and that's kind of the key. Like if you can have all these parts to put in your truck, and if you can't have a pedal, then it's not going to make any difference. So you got to have a solution for it. So
looking at the junkyards, yeah. So what's this I hear about this 4-wheel drive stuff you guys are doing?
Yeah, so Tremec came out with about 2-3 years ago now, the 4050 TR4050, and it's loosely. This kind of based around a new Venture 4500.
Okay, that's the big one. That's a good
bolt
trend.
Pattern kind of thing, which is, those have been out of the market for a long time now. Mm-hmm. It was an OE production transmission they built for some Ford F-250s and then down in the South American market.
Yeah.
And so they made an aftermarket version. So now we're implementing that transmission into some 4-drive applications.
Wow.
The first one we have right now is Chevy square body.
Okay.
It can also bolt up to any new process 23 spline transfer case.
So is it safe to say that pretty much anything that would bolt up a 4500, MV 4500, will fit this?
Pretty much.
With some changes,
Yeah, there's some differences in some of them, but it's a big transmission. You saw I brought one here for you. I drove here today like an 89 Chevy OBS dually, 2-wheel drive. And we actually used that truck to develop our OBS manual transmission kits. And my boss owns the truck, and he uses it around his farm, and he's like, I've got a Magnum 6-speed in it. It's not a pro touring truck at all, And we just kind of left it in there.
Yeah.
And we decided to put one of these 4050s.
Yeah. So
Tremec just also came out this year with the 2-wheel drive version of this 4050. So it's like a heavy-duty 2-wheel drive transmission. So if you're in a I guess medium-duty truck market, and you need a a good towing transmission. If you like, because a lot of guys don't like to tow a gooseneck with an automatic.
Yeah, yeah.
They want a manual. Both of these 4050 transmissions have a 6.6 first gear.
Wow.
So they have the granny
yeah.
low gear. Where did that ever come? What do a lot of people call that the granny gear? Because it was slow. I always wondered.
I guess. I don't know. It's been granny gear since I was a kid.
Yeah, since it was like, oh, I got the
put it
granny
down
gear.
in granny gear.
Like, what does that mean? Is it just like, is it going to break?
Yeah, it's probably one of those 50s things that came from it's your grandmother's car,
I've always
putt-putt
wondered
car.
where that came from. I guess because it's slow.
Yeah, it has to be.
Your grandma walks slow, and your Jeep or truck crawls slow.
Man, don't tell that to my grandmother.
No, I know. I won't go buy one either. But it's got the kind of the same gearing in reverse. So if you're rock crawling or towing again, you have a great. That's why the MV4500 was so great for rock crawlers, because the gearing was so low in the thing, short. It gives you nice heavy-duty gear ratios. You got a 0.71 overdrive. So if you got tall tires, you've got a pretty good overdrive, especially if you have short gears, tall tires, and you got a 0.71 overdrive.
Gosh, that's going to be a great kit for you guys. I mean, people are going to eat that thing up.
Yeah, so we just launched the square body kit today. The PR went out today, and we got some more in process. We're still working on some adapters and things like that. But other than that, it's good to go. You can give us a call. We can't do every four-wheel drive, but we can get you close or help you.
How about my Toyota?
Yeah, we've got a few of those. Some of the late model pickup truck guys would like one too, and it's like, and
not yet.
I can't put that in behind a Duramax just yet.
Yeah.
But we can do, if you got an LS motor, big block Chevy, we've got Cummins adapters for
that's the big one,
the 4BT and the 6BT. We have the bell housing for those now. We can bolt those up.
So what are you working on, man? What is your project?
Well,
you got the Chicken Coupe.
I got the Chicken Coupe, which just came out in Hot Rod a few weeks ago, which was mind-blowing. They even wanted the thing.
What year is that?
It's a 1983 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
With an LS in it.
Probably the least desirable Cadillacs ever made was the 80s Cadillacs. I put a 427 LS motor in it. Yeah. 6-speed, that's another thing. They never. Until
the car is cool as
came out, they didn't have any sticks in the thing. Think of it as a 1983 CTSV. Yeah. So it's kind of what it is.
Oh yeah, and you've had it on Power Tour. Have you done any pro touring stuff with it? Have you done any road course stuff with it?
Not till I get seats.
Yeah.
So it's still
still have the bench seat in it.
It's the only Achilles heel in the car right now is I have a factory bench seat, which is.
So you have a sofa in there.
Yeah. Which is nice for Power Tour. But nice for Power Tour, but not for autocrossing or, as I found out the hard way, going through the Dragon at Deals Gap. Yeah. I had my buddy Jeff Lee in the car with me back in October, and we did a fall run up to the Dragon. Yeah. And my G meter was watching Jeff Lee slide across the car. Oh yeah. And I knew I had to slow down because he was going too far.
So he's like way too close to you. He's
and I couldn't shift gears because he's sliding over into me.
It's like, Jeff, stay on your side of the car, man.
And I was like, man, I have got to get seats for this thing. So it's got so much grip with that QA1 suspension on it. I mean, it's a full frame car. It's basically a B-body GM car. Yeah. And these were actually called a C-body, so it's a B-body chassis. It's 11 inches longer. Yeah. But everything that QA1 makes for B-body bolts right on. Yeah. The beauty of the GM DNA of that era is like second-gen Camaro control arms.
It's all interchangeable.
You can get like the
people don't realize that.
Yeah, late 70s Buick B-body cars. They had a bigger 12-bolt. You can just swap all that stuff out. Now I put a 9-inch in mine. But because I was going to have a lot of power and I wanted disc brakes. I also converted it down to a Camaro bolt pattern because you can get more wheel options.
More options,
It's got huge wheel wells. Yeah. I mean, it was literally a weekend of bolting on the suspension. Yeah. Just bolted under the car. I didn't have to go get a chassis built or there was
once you got into it. Of course, you thought about it how long? 10 years?
Yeah. I had plenty of time to think about it. And I got a shout out to Jeff Schwartz for giving me that inspiration to build that car. And Jeff just found his Cadillac. I don't know if you saw.
I did.
He did. He said, I was the first person he called when he got it. Yeah. He called me and said, I got to tell you, I got the car back. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Like the week mine comes out in Hot Rod, he gets his car back. So, and I gave him a shout out, like, this car inspired me when it came out in Car Craft. It's like 2003. Yeah. And he did the Real Street Eliminator. And he won it with a 500 cube caddy motor, I might add, too, in that car. So he has a lot of neat tricks he'd done to that car that I kind of learned from. Yeah. So I was in LA and John McGann from Hot Rod was there, and he saw the car on Power Tour last year. Yeah. he didn't have a lot of time to talk about it, but when LA, he's like, man, I got to have this in hot rod.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do something on it. And I'm like, okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, really?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, because it's
It is
different.
what a hot rod is. It's what it used to be.
Yeah. So it's cool to be recognized for that. And
Yeah, that's very cool.
It's been a while. Like I said, in planning, I've changed jobs and had children, and so life gets I built cars for other people.
Oh, yeah.
So life gets in the way. And the real good part about my car build was my friends.
Yeah.
Because the story was, I had another '83 Caddy at home, which is my parts car. I was going to build that one, but it was just, everything was off of it.
It was a mess.
I mean, there's a mile of wiring that's already out of the car. Jeff Lee, Marcus, Jefferson, and John found this car in Clarksville the night before the Cookeville tornadoes hit. And before the pandemic hit, 2020.
Right,
and they
that thread in the
secretly
needle.
bought the car for me to motivate me to, because I had ever parked there but the car.
Yeah.
And they found a good rolling chassis, had everything there. There was no motor in it. Other than that, everything worked. Just to have your friends you meet along the way in the industry, and they to motivate you to build a car.
Oh my gosh!
You talk about building a car quick. When your buddies buy you a car.
Yeah.
You get your butt in gear to get it done.
No,
so I did.
You guys knocked it out.
A successful automotive project takes planning and organization, but instead of using an old tablet or notebook, there's the Gears Deluxe Project Planning Book. This was designed to help you lay out a project, the parts, the tools, costs, and keep it organized with colored tabs, a pouch for receipts, and even a place to attach photos. If you decide to sell the vehicle, it serves as a complete history of what's been done. If you have a project or plan on starting one, the Gears Project Planning Book is the best way to lay it out and make it happen.
In your opinion, what constitutes a hot rod? In other words, when you look at a vehicle and you say, that is a hot rod, give me some ingredients, 5 main ingredients that vehicle has got to have. Does it matter what body style it is? Does it matter, what are the common denominators that are going to be in any vehicle?
I think, first of all, it's going to be loud.
Got to be loud, okay.
It's like,
that's those days from Cherry Bomb,
yeah,
man.
you put a set of glass. Let's say you had my Cadillac, it's bone stock, with wire wheels, but then it's got glass packs on it.
Yeah.
Is that a hot rod? Maybe.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Everybody's got a different opinion. Okay, so
motor may be different.
It's got to be loud.
There could be a motor swap, but it could have a V8 in it from the factory that's been,
Does it have to be a V8 though?
No, absolutely.
But does it have to be a performance engine?
It depends. Let's say it's a lightweight car with a engine from another car, but it makes a lot more power, but necessarily not a performance engine.
Yeah. So you're talking about maybe an import, maybe with twin turbos.
I mean,
that's
the other thing. Do we count import cars? I count import cars.
Absolutely.
Because I was an import car
everything's
guy.
on the table here.
Yeah.
Because everybody has got, people tend to look at what era they kind of grew up in. But a hot rod, that term goes, it's still current.
It's current, but you got two rivers of current.
Yes.
You have a hot rod, and then you have a tuner car.
Yes.
So like the tuner car guys, or I say kids, but now it's a lot of guys now.
Yeah.
They're growing up too. They don't necessarily like the term you got a hot rod. That to them, it's like that 40 Chevrolet you have back here. So they like the term tuner car or modified car.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's a different
I'm
world.
kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I still respond. I'm 50 now.
Yeah.
I'm a Gen X. I was into import cars in the 90s, and then I got a Fox body Mustang and was like, whoa, V8, game changer.
Yeah, game changer, absolutely.
I was tuning Honda Civics and turbocharging them and RX-7s, and then I realized you could take that Fox body V8 and put this in the RX-7, and now you've got a hot rod.
Yeah.
And now you've got a car that's got twice the power.
Yeah.
3 times the torque, which is in a
the torque is a big thing.
2,400-pound car.
Yeah.
And that's when the light went off for me.
Yeah. So sound and performance are two. What about stance?
Stance, wheels and tires, stance, stuff like that. If the wheels been changed or tires.
Is there a particular stance that is it raked to the front? Is it lowered? Is it? Please tell me it's not sunk in the back.
Depends on who you ask, right? the generation you're talking to or the area of the country that you. I would say definitely a rake. It's a rake. My Cadillac has a little bit of a rake. If you look at the Bobby Alloway car, they got a lot of rake.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's too much and there's too little, and we're talking about your Jeepster, and it's like it definitely needs to come up in the back.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go too far down because it's a four-wheel drive. So you want to kind of level look for those. But yeah, it's got to have some rake, or big and littles.
Yeah.
Is the old term we would say, or wider tires in the back.
How about paint and interior and stuff? Does it have to be nice? Does it need to be rough?
No.
It doesn't matter.
No, because you've got the resto mod, or the rat rod's kind of cliche to say anymore, but more like my Cadillac.
Yeah.
Stock faded GM paint, but that's kind of the part of the look.
That's kind of part of the deal.
And it's got nice wheels.
Yeah.
And a nice engine bay.
And
so the engine bay's been painted all nice. So
I would think a big thing too that nobody's really talked about on that is that somebody has to be willing to drive it hard.
Yeah.
Because to have a hot rod and not drive it like a hot rod, do you really have a hot rod?
That's true.
Or do you have a street rod?
Or you're a poser.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And.
There's a lot of ways to answer that question. And you're right, there's a certain set of parameters probably.
Yeah, there's certain things that everybody seems to agree on.
Yeah.
And then there's so many variables, which is great. That's what makes this industry so cool.
Oh, absolutely.
That everybody's.
It's something for everybody. If you just want to put some lights on your car.
Yeah.
You just want to put some wheels and nothing else. Or just an air intake kit for a little better fuel economy. Is that hot rodding?
Yeah.
You've modified the car. Yeah.
I was definitely a hot rodder when I first started, and all I could do was put on Edelbrock air cleaners.
and it's kind of an addiction. I hate to say it, but you
kind of.
I mean, what is the industry now? It's like $14 billion industry, or whatever it is now. And I'm like, it's nothing you need. It's everything you want.
Yeah.
You don't need anything. We're not making medical equipment at SEMA. But you know what I mean.
Oh,
you don't need any of this stuff.
Yeah.
My buddy John Clark had a great phrase for some of these things. He calls it gingerbreading.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah. The icing on a gingerbread man, So,
you don't need a motorized toolbox, but you want to build one.
Absolutely. And it can also cut the grass, maybe.
Cut grass with it, do all that kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think the future of the industry is, man? Do you think it's going to keep popping ahead?
Oh,
or do you think,
Yeah.
It seems as strong as ever.
The pandemic, we all lost somebody in the pandemic. Everybody, we all knew somebody who passed away.
Yeah.
I knew several close people. It makes you really stop and think about what you're doing.
Yeah. It woke up a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's like, I didn't get this car done. I'm going to build this car now. So it's kind of, when we're stuck at home or we couldn't go anywhere, people had a lot of time. Or now, we noticed at American Powertrain, guys would order their transmission kit during the pandemic, and they started building their car. And it still takes a year or two to get the car built. Now they got them on the road. I talked to so many people at car shows last summer. I built this car over the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just over and over and over.
Yeah. And people went into their garage.
Yeah, and they went in the garage and, turned off the news and just focused on what they're doing. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I built my car kind of towards the end of I don't know, when was the end of the pandemic anymore? I guess the end of 2022 maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird to me. But I think it made a lot of people realize life is short.
Yeah, it is.
And you got to, if you want to do your passion, do it.
Yeah. That's the best advice right there, man.
Yeah. Now, the electric car doesn't scare me. A lot of people get scared. I mean, I think it's more technology, more things to play with down the road. There's some interesting concepts.
There's a place for it.
I think it'd be neat to have one of those little Volkswagen Beetles with the motor in the back, because that would be a fast little car. We've sold a few TKXs to some EV guys that are doing some resto mod stuff with the motor. So I think there's still a lot of stuff out there. And GM's doubling down on building more LS top motors, and so I think we'll be good for a while.
That's not going to go anywhere for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, thank you for coming by. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it was great. Love to be here. I'm going to look around your shop some more.
All right, man. All right, that's our show for today, which means you need to get out there and start working on something. Spend some time turning wrenches. You'll love it. Also, make sure to check out our website, staceydavid.com. We got all kinds of new products, some great stuff there you're going to love. Also, make sure you check out our social media. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all at Official Stacey David. Our social media is where you're going to find all the bonus content,
the giveaways, the contests, the trivia. We even have extra viewer projects that we show everybody to focus on what you're working on. YouTube is where you're going to be able to find all of our episodes of Gears, past, present, and future. I know a lot of you guys ask about that. That's where you can see them. All right, that's all we got. We'll see you next time.